All right. Welcome, everyone, to episode 8 of the Fanatics of College Football Betting podcast. And oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about this week. We had some craziness happen last week in college football. We got so much to talk about. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get right to it. My name is Kyle Comas, and joining me, we have the CEO of the Coda Sports Gambling Network, Pace Meyer. We got the host of the Play Me or Fade Me podcast. We got Mr. Action Junkie. And we got the Milwaukee living man, the Ohio State fan himself. We got Mr. VFC. Fellas, it is week 7 now of college football. How are we feeling? How are we doing today?
Kind of sad. Halfway done, right? Of the regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of
Don't
kind of
say
sad.
that.
I know. It seems like it was just yesterday that we were doing the preseason show. So flying around.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
going by
it's
super quick.
pretty insane. We got a big game this week as Ohio State fans, so a lot of pressure, but you know, we're excited. Team's looking good, so we'll see.
I think this week in general might be like our best week of college football this year. We got the Ohio State, Oregon, we got the Red River game, we got Ole Miss and Tennessee. Um, we just great overall games this week. This might be our best week as far as college football goes this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The follow up last week. It wasn't a ton of ranked matchups, but a lot of chaos last week. So to say this week is even better, it should be fun. Back to back weeks. It's going to be good. Chaos. That's what we wanted, right? We wanted chaos, and we got it last week.
Oh yeah, we most certainly did get chaos. That's for sure. Action, how you doing today?
I'm great. Going back to last week, I have not called my wife to the couch as much as I did last weekend in like years because that's how good the ending of so many games where I'd call her over and say, "You got to watch the final minute of this one." And it just kept topping itself over and over and over. Highlighted, I guess the cherry on the top was obviously Miami at like 1 o'clock in the morning,
Crazy.
rallying against Cal. It's like, I can't believe what I watched all day on Saturday.
It would have
Crazy.
been insane to be Cal, like just a fan there to go to game day. I know people were like lining up the door at like midnight the night before. And then I didn't realize until I looked at the schedule Saturday that game was, the last game of the night. So just an insane, like, I hope some kids got some naps so they saw that game. Maybe they didn't want to see that game after they saw the finish. But what a long day for those Cal fans.
But what a great day until the finish, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and I
know.
mean, you feel so good for 3 3/4 of that game, and then it's just devastation. I don't know. It's awful. Gotta be an awful feeling.
Mhm.
Reminds me of many times in Minneapolis sitting in the parking lot after a Gopher collapse in the fourth quarter against Wisconsin, where we just sit in the car and we don't even move the car because we know the parking ramp's backed up anyway. And we have nothing to say. We're just in disbelief. It's like, did that really happen? Is all we can say. And if you're a Cal fan, that's had to be what you were saying on Saturday. I can't believe what just happened.
Yeah.
And then
What
how
were
does Miami? I mean, I have Miami once again. I said they were going to make the college football playoffs here, but how do they seem to get every single break week
I
after
know.
week after week? It's evening out with my Virginia Tech bet, maybe.
Yeah, and I will say too, the none of you three were on the panel last week, but the panel was very, very high on Michigan, and Action put all his chips on the table. He said, I'm calling Washington minus the 2.5. He actually called it his game of the decade. He
Whew.
put everything at risk, and it paid off for you in the
It
end.
was that was an incredible call action. I'll be honest. So I took Michigan. For me, I love betting Michigan money line. I don't have a better bet in football than that because either I win money or Michigan loses. It's really a win-win for me. But when I heard play of the decade after I had already placed my bet, I was very tempted to double up my units the other way to join you. Because I feel like when I hear action say play of the decade, I probably shouldn't mess around. I should have been on that.
How you feeling,
And the
Action,
only
after
thing
the
I'll say,
Gophers
VFC,
too?
when they made the quarterback change, I was ready to go to your side. And I'm like, I got to almost live bet this the other way because I
Yeah,
was getting nervous.
Tuttle looked good to begin with, and obviously Washington had game plan for Orgy. That's something that they were obviously preparing for all week. But once they got going, I mean, it was pretty clear. Like, hey, maybe Tuttle isn't the guy either. The 25-year-old Jack Tuttle somehow on the Wolverines still, and yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, no, I thought the same at first. It looked like they had a little spark.
Action, how you feeling with the Gophers?
That was a great win, program win. I talked to one of my buddies that works at the stadium, and he said, from a rush the field perspective, that was our best one in TCF Bank history. So that was good. Unfortunately, I'd feel a little bit better if Lincoln Riley wasn't 5-7 in his last 12 games as coach at USC. And when we won the football game, they were a top 11 team. I look at the polls today, and I can't find him in the top 25. So it doesn't have the same feeling here on Tuesday as it did on Saturday, but still a huge win for the program. Confidence booster the rest of the way. Schedule now looks favorable. I think my over 5.5 is going to cash again. So I'm, probably going to buy some new furniture this weekend.
You really hate to see it. You really, really hate to see the fall of Lincoln Riley. I tell you what.
You do. Is he on the hot seat? I don't know.
I think it's got to be pretty close.
Yeah, his contract's insane, isn't it?
Oh, it's crazy.
Like
one of the higher paid ones in college football, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's like 10 years too.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, USC fired Clay Helton, and he went. What did Helton go? 7-2 in the Pac-12 in 2019, 5-0 in the Pac-12 in 2020, and then he gets fired 2 games into 2021. So,
Crazy.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Clay Helton looks pretty good right now.
Yeah,
it's nuts. Yeah, for sure. And going back to that Michigan game that VFC talked about a little bit, can we talk about how bad Alex Orji is at football? Oh my God, dude! I complain all the time about how much DJU sucks. Alex Orji so much worse than DJU. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's sad, man. I actually like Alex Orji as a dude. He seems like a really good dude, but I said since the beginning of this year they should just roll with Orji and run like a service academy offense and just try to make it work. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know. Their offensive line isn't as good as they once were. They were thought to be. Obviously, I think they replaced all 5 starters this year, but it just doesn't work. They have to throw the ball. They have to have a JJ type of guy. Even Cade a couple years ago, he was serviceable enough to throw the ball when he needed to. And they just don't have that guy. Warren can't do it. Tuttle can't do it. I guess you might as well get a guy that can extend the play with Orji. So I don't know. It's bad. It's a bad situation in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and if you look too at the chaos that happened, I think all the teams that upset another team in the top 25, like all those quarterbacks were transfers that came in. So it's like Michigan, just go get a quarterback. Just go get a quarterback, and you should have been fine this year. I mean, defensively, they're good, right? So just go get a quarterback. I mean, you can't tell me that they were confident in these 2 guys going into the season. Just go get a solid quarterback and have a really good year. So yeah, shout out. And I know it's just the new way of college football, but you're always just maybe 1 quarterback away. You never know.
Well, Barstool Sports is offering $3 million a year to Michigan quarterback for next year. So
yeah, that's right.
I think the Wolverines will address their issues there, and they should have invested in Cam Ward this year.
Oh, big time.
That would be
absolutely
a scary sight.
BFC, you got any eligibility left?
Got all of the eligibility left.
You know what, Pace, you are the CEO of the Coda Sports Gambling Network. You do make the decisions here. We haven't had a Coda Capper NIL deal before. We really should get something going for like the young guns of the network, like VFC, Toast, somebody like that. We got to get an NIL deal going, I think.
Yeah, do we have any young guys that are still in college? I don't know if we do we? But
is Toast still in college?
Toast still might be. He's got some baseball eligibility left, I think. Yeah. So
no, he did his 8 years. I think PG still got a little eligibility left. He could
that's true.
The old arm.
Yeah. He could look good on that OU offensive line, defensive line. Yeah, you never know.
There we go.
But yeah, real quick, last thing on Michigan. I just want to call this out because there's a very good chance they could have lost that USC game and would be sitting at 3-3 right now. They're off this week, but next week they go to Illinois. That's a toss up right now. They're home against Michigan State. They should win that one. Home against Oregon. Oregon looks good enough to beat Michigan. At Indiana, the way Indiana's looking right now, that's insane. You know, you never know. Home against Northwestern, that should be a win, and then they're at Ohio State. There could easily be four losses in those next what, 6 games, and it's just like if they didn't win that USC game, we'd be talking about them potentially not even making a bowl game at this point.
Yeah.
So you never know, but they could also win out or only drop one or two of those. But just saying, it looks a little bleak over there.
Yeah.
And that's said with love as an Ohio State guy, right?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Just want to make sure I clarified that.
Absolutely. Well, all right, gents. Well, hey, we got a good conversation going. Let's keep that conversation going. I'll just do it really quick, though. I'll do our ad read and our trivia question. And I got to thinking about the trivia question, and I give a lot of love to FBS schools on here, but I got to thinking about it. You know, we got Pace, who is an FCS graduate from an FCS school. Actually, I believe you went to an FCS school, did you not?
I went even lower than that, so don't even worry about me.
Okay, well, I'm NAI, so you can't go much lower than me.
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
So I went NAI and VFC. Remind me again about you.
I did go to Ohio State. I had my
Okay.
diploma from Ohio State, so not quite FCS, but you know.
No, not quite FCS. But anyway, I got to thinking we got a lot of people at the network that went to an FCS or lower school. So I want to give some love to the FCS for this trivia question. So it's a very just simple and basic trivia question. What current FCS school has the most wins all time? That's your trivia question. What current FCS school has the most wins all time? So I will give you an opportunity to think about it while I do our ad read. Go ahead, Action.
I just want clarification. At the FCS level or just historically as a program, whether they were at D2 or not?
Right. Historically as a program. What current FCS school? So I'll give you time to think about it while I do our ad read. The Fanatics College Football Betting Show is sponsored by Better Edge. Better Edge is a social betting marketplace that is legal in 45 states and operates like a marketplace. If you're wondering how that works, let me use an example for you. Let's use the Ohio State-Oregon game being played this weekend. One person on the platform likes Ohio State money line. They place $10 on that line. Another person on the platform likes Oregon money line, and they place $10 on that same line. Boom, you now got an exchange because you're going head-to-head against that person rather than against a sports book. That's what makes it legal in 45 different states. So you go on like any sports book, you might have some spreads and over-unders that are very juiced, and you don't know what to do with that. But on Better Edge, it's minus 100, plus 100 on all spreads and over-unders. You get a much higher payback for the users. They also have several different competitions such as Battle Royale, Survivor, Chaser. Keeps things competitive for the users. And another really cool thing is it incorporates social media. People can go on the platform, post their picks on their timeline. Their followers can see the picks, and they can actually fade them to create an order or ride with them and hope that somebody else makes an order with them. But we love Better Edge here at the network. Go to their website, www.betteredge.com. Use promo code Kyle, Corey, Pace, Play Me, any of those promo codes. You get $20 out of your amount. I mean, that's free money. You get money in. You put money in, you get money added to your account. www.betteredge.com. So, gentlemen, trivia question for you. What current FCS school has the most wins all time? So we will see how you guys do. We'll give some love to the FCS on this show that we don't do very often. But VFC, we'll start with you. Who do you think it is?
Yeah, my thought process is, and I don't even know if these schools are technically FCS or what they are, but I feel like those Ivy League schools are just so old, and it's maybe like a Harvard or a Princeton. So I'm gonna go with Princeton. I don't even know if they're FCS, but that's my guess.
Okay, sounds good. Pace, who do you think it is?
I mean, I have to take North Dakota State. I don't think they've been around long enough for this answer to stick, but me being a Bison guy, I just have to stick with my program.
All right, very good. And Action, who do you think it is?
Well, regardless of the trivia question, and even though it doesn't apply, my answer is Jerry Kill. I said no matter what, Jerry Kill's my answer, but otherwise I'll go with Pace. Give me North Dakota State.
Okay, sounds good. So this program in history has had 936 wins in its program history. VFC was on the right track, but it is Yale The Yale Bulldogs have 936, and then Harvard is after them, followed by Princeton, and then North Dakota State is fourth. But make a note, though, North Dakota State at the FCS level has played 20 less seasons than those other Ivy League schools. So they're high up and have played a lot less seasons than those Ivy League schools have.
Well, it's good to know that that I wouldn't have had it even if I picked Harvard and it wasn't down to the 50-50 there. So that's good news at least.
Yep.
Good question, Kyle.
Yeah, there we go.
Also, Kyle, real quick breaking news, Liberty just scored a touchdown before the end of the half.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. 17-10 then?
Right now, 16-10, kicking the extra point. So we'll see, I guess.
Okay. Sounds good. That's great. And let's hope that second half gets a lot more because I'm on the over in that game. But all right, gents. Well, hey, before we get started with our week 7 snake draft, let's really quick talk about week 6. There was a lot of craziness that happened in week 6. So just anything really that stood out to you that you guys want to talk about from week 6. Action, will start with you. What really stood out to you last week?
Well, there's a chief consultant at Vanderbilt that did a heck of a job getting the Commodores ready to beat Alabama, and that guy is Jerry Kill. And so you guys can take your shot now. We got the Kill reference out here twice in the first 10 minutes of the show. But, yeah, Vandy's performance was phenomenal. You knew Alabama had a potential letdown spot, but for Vandy to get the job done completely and pull off the W, I thought was amazing. And in an era where you really worry that nil is going to unbalance the scales, I guess I came up with the thought on Saturday of, hey, I've been worrying too much. We still, like Pace said, you bring in the right chemistry, you bring in the right quarterback in the portal, you get the right coaching staff involved, and you can still have great things happen on the gridiron. And we're not going to just have 10 teams dominate college football, at least on any given Saturday. And we got to see that across the board. I thought the Arkansas win was phenomenal as well. So happy for Sam Pittman there. For what Tennessee had been doing offensively, to see what they did defensively in that game, that had me excited as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, for sure. Pace, what really stood out to you last week?
I mean, it's got to be Boise State. I thought this number, I knew Utah State was real bad, so I kind of like the over there. At some point, the over-under, the live was like 97.5. Ended up hitting the under on that, but like that's insane to see. So I don't know, Boise State. I was worried about their defense. They're rolling offensively. They're a juggernaut. Ashton Jeanty is amazing. The dude's a dog. And if he doesn't win the Heisman this year, I mean, unless like something crazy happens, he gets hurt, etc. Like as long as he continues to, score a touchdown per game at least, I just don't see how you can't. He's going to go to New York. I just don't see. Nobody else has the stats that come close to him. So I get why he's the favorite now. But, man, if you liked him early on, you should have hopped on the number now. I think what VFC said, he's like plus, 235 or something to win something crazy like that. So that's just insanely low considering where he was, 4 or 5, heck, even 3 weeks ago. So Boise State looks really good right now, and I love my Boise State to make the 12-team playoff future. That's looking really good too right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I bet. Yeah, for sure it is. And actually, I'm going to kind of pivot to my point, Pace, because it goes off of Boise State too, and what I had written down for what really stood out to me. Every year around this time, or like you said, Pace, about the middle of the season for college football, we always talk about the Heisman Trophy. We talk about guys that are front runners and guys that have a real shot at winning it. And all the time we have this conversation, we always say that some of the top players and some of the top teams that are in the top 5 and stuff like that. But the Heisman Trophy, the actual award, goes to the best player in college football. And I'm telling you right now, there's nobody playing better football than Ashton Jeanty. There's nobody playing better football. And look at his stats. He has in 5 games, he has 1,031 yards and 16 TDs. He's averaging 200 yards per game and 3 touchdowns per game. I don't care who the hell he played. That's unbelievable stats. And people always say, "Oh man, the Mountain West, they're just not a Power 5 conference, so his stats might be inflated." The hell with that. The Heisman Trophy goes to the best player, and you can talk about any player in college football. You can talk about, I know, Right behind him is Jalen Milroe and Travis Hunter and Cam Ward. He is playing better football than all those guys. But the fact that he goes to a group of 5 school is going to handicap him from getting the Heisman. I think that's ridiculous. He is the best player in college football right now. And like you said, Pace, unless he like either gets hurt or has a serious downhill spiral, there is no reason he shouldn't be a front runner for the Heisman right now.
Yeah, well said. I think he has more rushing yards than about every single team in college football except about like 20 teams, something like that. So, I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah, absolutely nuts. But yeah,
go ahead. No, I was going to say one thing that'll help support your argument, Kyle, is if the Oregon defense can shut down Ohio State this week, because the numbers he put up against Oregon were still 25 carries, 192, and 3 TDs. Crazy. So, you know, you can talk about the Mountain West competition, but he's going to play Washington State and Oregon State, which were Power 5 teams just 1 year ago. And by the way, if Oregon wins this game against Ohio State, he may have played one of the 2 best teams in the country and still put up those numbers. So I think his resume could really be aided this week if Oregon has a good showing defensively against Ohio State.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really hate that argument though, and it's been said about a lot of really good Group of 5 players like Jordan Lynch, Kellen Moore, Case Keenum when he was in the Group of 5. Like all the time, Group of 5s get handicapped because they don't play good competition. If you're playing good football, you need to be in New York. I just think that's a crazy argument. Now I get it, like Conference USA and the MAC and sometimes the Sun Belt, I somewhat understand, but the American and the Mountain West compete with the Power 5 schools all the time. So I hate that Group of 5 argument.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this a 2-horse race? Is it Ashton and Cam Ward? Is that kind of what it is here?
Travis Hunter's pretty high up too.
Yeah, Travis. Yeah. Okay, that's true.
And I mean, I don't want to rule out any of the big quarterbacks yet. I mean, yeah, Milroe and Beck and those kind of guys. It's like even Gabriel. It's like, yeah, they maybe haven't looked the best so far, and they have losses, but I don't know. We've seen the Heisman voters do this before, as far as like if Carson Beck plays really well the rest of the season and he lost one game to Alabama in a game that he had pretty good stats in, are they really gonna? I don't know. But I know I sent that graphic about Jeanty as well in the group chat. I don't know if we want to talk about that now, but
yeah, go for it.
It was just the stat from ESPN Bet that said, I want to say it was one guy in the past, what was that, 10 years, has won the Heisman after being the favorite entering week 7, and it was Lamar. Everyone else, Penix, Stroud, Corral, which is crazy. I didn't even realize Matt Corral was the Heisman favorite entering week 7, but Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Saquon, Fournette, and Gurley all lost it. I have a take on this, though. And I say this, Pace, not in the most sincere way. It is in the most sincere way, not in a jinxy way at all. Ashton Jeanty is a lock for the Heisman. He is winning the Heisman without a doubt this year. He is so good, so good. He just ran for like 190 yards, didn't even play in the second half. And their schedule after this, they've had the tough part of their schedule. They play Hawaii this week. They get a week off. They go to UNLV. That's a tough game. Don't get me wrong. UNLV is a tough game. I still think they're going to put up a lot of points. They're going to put up a lot of yards on UNLV. If they win that game, obviously it helps. But after that, you get San Diego State, Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming, and Oregon State. We know Oregon State is decent. We know San Jose State can maybe make a splash, but like he's going to run for 200 yards in every single one of those games. And if he just keeps doing this, we looked at the stats compared to, what was it, Henry, Ingram, and somebody else. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even close. The dude is incredible. He's doing incredible things. If he stays healthy, and a win against UNLV would help tremendously, and good stats against UNLV would help tremendously, especially with how they've looked. But I'm just saying, man, he's going to win the Heisman. He's gonna. He's breaking this trend.
Now that BFC just jinxed the boy to win the Heisman, my dark horse now is the LSU quarterback, Newsmeyer, to win at plus 4,500. So thank you, BFC.
Can I say one more thing on the Heisman? and
Yeah.
I've been preaching this in the group chat. Will Howard deserves more respect. 65-1. The man had 5 touchdowns last weekend. I know he turns the ball over every once in a while, but this is an Ohio State team that's 5-0. Could go undefeated if they beat Oregon this weekend. And I mean, they have to go to Penn State too. But if he plays well against Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, I mean, 6,500 is crazy. What, Quinn Ewers hasn't even played in 2 games and he's plus 2,000. I don't know. Will Howard deserves more respect. That's my take.
Coming from
I just
a
put in
guy
my
that loves
Cam Ward
OSU.
plus 400 wagers, so thank you guys.
I don't know if you were really looking at the screen, VFC, but when you said it's a lock, Pace instantly put his head down and shook his head.
Yeah, I did. I saw
This
it.
freaking guy, man.
I'm telling you, it's my take. He's breaking the trend. ESPN bet posted that so that people would flood in and put money elsewhere.
Well, but question though, I don't want to stay on the topic forever, but if Miami runs the table with Cam Ward, I mean, this program has been downtrodden for how many years? I mean, Miami has been fighting to get bowl eligibility. If they run the table 12-0 and they have a softer schedule the rest of the way, right? I mean, he could put up video game numbers. He has yet to throw for under 300 yards in a game. He already has 20 touchdown passes in 6 games. Cam Ward's going to get a lot of love late in the season, especially if Miami goes up the charts all the way to number 1, which if they win out the way everyone else is falling right now, I can definitely envision a scenario where Miami's the number 1 team at the end of the year. You have him putting up video game type numbers. I understand the argument, but I think it's Cam Ward.
I guess my fear with Cam Ward is yeah, you're right. It is a softer schedule. But just one bad game, it feels like could take him out of it. And I think we've seen quarterbacks get it taken away from them in that conference championship game, a la Bo Nix last year. Where yeah, it's a regular season award, but the conference championship comes and they lose in that conference championship or don't look great in that conference championship, likely maybe playing Clemson, it's all of a sudden somebody else's award. So I just think Cam Ward has to be basically perfect, and Jeanty gets a little bit more kind of leeway, just given the fact that he's already done so much and that schedule is so soft. But.
Well, according to my sources, the AP or the ACC replay officials are counting the ballots, so I like my odds.
If you're big into player props too, Cam Ward's thrown 1 interception in his last 3 games. So he's throwing 4 interceptions in the last 3 games, 1 in each. So if you're into that, maybe something to look there on Saturday.
There we go. I like that. And then VFC, I know you kind of talked a little bit about the Heisman, but anything really stand out to you last week?
Yeah, my last thing was just how kind of open the Big 12 and the ACC are, how kind of up in the air. I know Ashton and I love Miami. Can't say enough about Miami from the beginning of the season. But from a Big 12 standpoint, Kyle, cover your ears. Iowa State is now the favorite in the Big 12. Utah down to plus 450, Iowa State plus 300. I don't know. That conference is just going to be a crapshoot the rest of the way. And then as far as the ACC goes, Clemson is the favorite at plus 140, Miami plus 150. My question was, and it really kind of what stood out to me the most this week was SMU looked dang good. And they've got 1 loss. They're plus 600 to win the ACC right now. They would, have to find a way to slide in there. I'm not sure if they play Clemson or Miami the rest of the year. I would guess they play one of them. But hey, you never know. SMU could get in that game. Plus 600 feels like pretty good value to me there. So just wide open conferences. Big Ten is going to come down to a few teams as well. SEC even now with Bama losing. I just feel like every conference is kind of wide open, but those 2 specifically.
Well, I would say with Bama losing, and I was thinking about this. With Bama losing, with Georgia losing, Texas A&M and Missouri both had a loss. Texas has to be feeling pretty darn good right now. I know they got a tough game this week in the Red River game. If they can get past that, they got to be feeling pretty good right now with how good they've played so far this year. as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Before we move on to middle of the year, right? We're halfway there. I just want to ask you guys if, off the top of your head, the leader in the clubhouse, the coach to get fired first here. Do you guys have any guesses at plus 250?
Ooh.
Mike Norvell. Sorry, Action.
That's actually a really good guess, VSC.
He's on this. He's on the list.
Oh, it's got to be is Billy Napier still number one on the list?
Kyle?
I was gonna guess Brian Kelly.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. So two of those guys are on the list. Mike Norvell is plus 1100. He's in fourth currently. Billy Napier, like Action said, is in second at Florida at plus 450. The leader, though, is the guy from Baylor, Mr. Dave R.
Oh, yeah,
at plus 250.
Yeah.
I already fired him 2 weeks ago. I thought he was gone.
Yeah. I think Baylor did too. They just haven't actually told him yet, so he's just
Yeah.
hanging around. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just said
it's
Brian
not a
Kelly
Robert
because I know how
Saleh
crazy those
situation where the key
LSU
card's
fans
not going to
are.
work.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, show up to work and he's out of it. All right.
I just
There
said
we go.
Brian Kelly because I know how crazy those LSU fans are. But yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, Dave Aranda. Boy, Baylor has been a disappointment this year. As a guy that drafted them in the college football team draft, just very, very tough.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to see Mr. Sonny Dykes not on there either. TCU, yeah, I don't know.
Is Luke
National
Fickell?
championship 2 years ago, though. I understand he's
Yeah.
5-7 in his last 12 games as well, but he did take him to the national title. TCU doesn't have exactly the same expectations as some of these other programs.
That's fair. That's fair.
They're not
That-
in the SEC.
That's just coming off that Houston just getting boat raced by them. So yeah.
Pace, is Luke Fickell on the list?
No, he is not. So the list I'm looking at here, it looks like it's from Fanatics. We got Arnada there at the favorite, Napier second, Sam Pittman from Arkansas third.
Oh.
Interesting.
After that,
At
man.
Mike Norvell, Scott Satterfield from Cincy at plus 1100, Hugh Freeze Auburn plus 1500, Shane Beamer South Carolina plus 1500. They got a big game this weekend, and then the field at plus 900. I don't know. So, like I said, I mean, if I could bet this, you just have to run to the window and take Arnada. I think at plus 250. Geez, that seems like a good number.
I just don't know if is Baylor a program that'll fire in the season where I feel like Napier's been coaching for his job for like 2 weeks. I feel like he's one loss away, especially with Murderers Row ahead. They may actually just be nice to him and say, hey, let's just call it a day.
Yep.
Because those boosters want to move on a little faster than maybe Baylor. So out of that list, I'd still put my money on Napier.
Yep.
There we go.
Then Lane Kiffin's going to go to Florida.
That's part of the reason why Florida might move early here is to make sure they secure their next head coach early.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, boys. Well, hey, that was good talking about week 6. Let's dive into week 7, though. Like we talked about earlier, we have a great slate of college football in week 7, so I can't wait to talk about it. So what we're going to do, as always, is we're going to do a week 7 betting snake draft. So we have a 5-round snake draft. We have 20 guys in the panel. So we have 4 guys in the panel. So we're giving you 20 picks. Everybody in the panel must take a full game spread, a money line, a full game over under, a team total, and a first half play. Round 1 will be worth 5 units. Round 2 is worth 4. Round 3 is worth 3. Round 4 is worth 2. And round 5 is worth 1. Go really quick through the standings from last week. Beast Picks won the draft last week with a 3-2 plus 0.82 day. Corey came in second at a 3-2 plus 0.02 day. I came in third at a 2-3 minus 3.05 unit day, and PG came in fourth with a 1-4 minus 13.05 unit day. So not the greatest week, but we're due. We are so due for a great week. And with the great games that we got this week, I think we're going to have it. So we did the order again before the draft. Pace is going to go first, followed by VFC, myself, and Action. Action will have back-to-back, and it'll snake back around to Pace. You got to take one of each, and then we'll keep going until our teams are full. But gents, if we're ready, let's get right to it. Pace, you have the number 1 overall pick. Where are you going?
All righty. Between a couple picks here, and I can't believe I'm going to do this because this team's burned me once. Cam Rising, I don't know if he's just collecting checks and not playing. So I don't know what's going on there, but again, I can't believe I'm doing this, but ride or die with the Utes. I'm going to take Utah minus 6.5 here. Coming off the bye, I look back in the Whittingham era. I think 2005. He was the coach. He started coaching at Utah. They're 21-13-2 against the spread, coming off a bye, and 36-29-3 against the spread with the rest advantage. Going against Arizona State. No, it's on the road, but Arizona State now they're 4-1. They look good. They got a good rush offense, but 4 of their 5 games have been decided by one possession. Coming off a short week here, I think Utah, this is kind of a good spot for the Utes to get right here at minus 6.5. So, win by a touchdown or more, and we're happy. It pains me to say it because I got burned by them on a 5-unit play earlier this year. But like I said, ride or die. I'm going with the Utes.
All right. I love it, Pace. You got to stick with your guns. And Cam Rising has to come back at some point, right? All he did was hurt his hand.
I don't know. Rumors, can he come back again? Like, can he come back next year? Like, let's come back next year. Let's not play, right? Because how many games does he play? 2 games? Like, could he get another red shirt or however that works? Like, I don't know. Maybe he just, like I said, collecting that NIL check, coming back next year, get another check, and then I don't know. So I don't know. I watched a press conference earlier this week for Utah, and they just don't seem to know what's going on. Apparently, it's in the medical personnel, their hands. He has to be cleared to come back. So I have no idea, but good spot for Utah, I believe.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I like it. All right, we will go to VFC with his first round play.
I feel like Corey doing this, but I'm going to be taking Purdue and Illinois under 49.5. I'm just not sure how Purdue scores points in this game, and I don't think Illinois offense is prolific enough to, maybe hang 40 on Purdue. I also think just after that Wisconsin beat down of Purdue, Purdue's got to probably be at least a little bit fired up to play some defense. Otherwise, all those kids are going to get cut and sent down to Division III football here soon. So I'm taking Illinois, Purdue under 49.5. Again, feel like Corey, but I think it's a play.
By the way, I just want to mention Corey was very, very nice and sincere, congratulating me on the Gopher victory over USC. And the USC cannot handle the Big Ten, and he wanted me to share that with everyone today. So I appreciate you honoring Corey with an under as your first pick today.
Least I can do.
Just out of curiosity, action. When did Corey text you congratulating you?
Oh, he sent several congratulatory texts. He's
on Saturday.
Yeah, I got some on Saturday. I think I got them on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So high class individual. I really appreciated his sincere wishes after the game.
Just couldn't do it over Zoom, face to face. What a coward.
Yeah, no, I like that play VFC. I think I might actually tail that. I didn't have that written down as my total, but I like it a lot.
Would love to have you on board.
And you might just get me there. So, all right. So it's my pick now. I'm gonna go to my spread, and I'm gonna take Kansas State -4 at Colorado. Oh no, I took it from Ashton. This spread should be a touchdown plus. I think that sports books are looking at Colorado, seeing them at 4-1, and he has something pulled up. I can't see him, but
yeah, I think I saw the tail end there.
Yeah, I think Colorado. They're looking at him going 4-1, but I think Avery Johnson is going to absolutely pick apart this Colorado defense, and I think they could very well win a touchdown. I know it's at Boulder, but I think this is going to be pretty lopsided here. So I'm going to take Kansas State -4 against Colorado.
Love it.
Well, you just ruined the show for me. So my first pick, I'll take Kansas State first half minus the 2.5. And on my wraparound pick, I'll take Kansas State on the money line minus the 155 since you already took the spread from me.
Excellent. All in on Kansas State. No such thing as overexposure.
No, the plan was all 5 picks on Kansas State.
First half,
hilarious.
First half -2.5. You said
-2.5. Yep.
And at what line?
Well, a -110.
Okay.
Never fails. Action always gets his pick stolen.
I'll wait until my wraparounds to give you all the full logic. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, it'll go back to me then. I'm gonna go with the first half play. I've been riding this team in the first half a lot this year, and I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna take Boise State first half minus 11 and a half against Hawaii. One thing about Boise State is they start off games absolutely just pounding the rock. Ashton Jeanty gets them going right away. Like Pace said, or BFC said last week, he had 190 yards rushing and didn't even play in the second half. So they get him going right away, and I think they're gonna keep that going. I don't think Hawaii is very good, and I think Boise State is going to trounce them at home. So I'm going to take Boise State first half minus 11 and a half. I actually get that at plus money at a plus 102.
I love it.
that.
This line was like a little fishy to me. I thought it was a little low, but Hawaii is a pretty solid defense in the Mountain West, especially against the run. I think they're second, and they give up the fewest points in the Mountain West too. But I love it, Kyle. Boise State all the way. They're just a wagon in the first half.
Yeah, I bet on them a lot in the first half this year, and it's been very profitable for me. So I think I'm just gonna like my team total that I'll share with later.
Ooh, little tease.
Little tease that I've been riding a lot. So yep, nope. I like Boise State a lot, and I think they'll beat Hawaii pretty handily here. But all right, we will go to VFC with his second round play.
Trying to decide which one I want to do next here. I'm gonna go with Rutgers minus 2.5 against Wisconsin.
Okay.
Again, just I feel like Corey today, but I don't know. I haven't loved what I've seen from Wisconsin so far. I don't think they're that special. Rutgers coming off that loss, I just think they're going to be fired up a bit. Coming back home, I don't know. I just think they're the better team. I think their defense is good enough to shut down Wisconsin or at least slow them down. I think their offense is good enough. I don't think Wisconsin's defense is that good. They looked good against Purdue, but we could look good against Purdue. So I don't know. I just think this is Wisconsin looked really good last week. Rutgers didn't look so good. And I think it's kind of all going to culminate into Rutgers winning by touchdown. So it's minus 2.5. I think I love that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that play too. Yeah, you are turning into Corey a little bit here, BFC. You got two, you got an under and you got a spread, both in the Big Ten.
And like middle of the pack Big Ten too. It's
right.
Not the hot shots. So yeah, I feel like Corey.
He's been in the group chat long enough. He's starting to rub off on you, I think. Have you ever received, this is totally off topic, and we can cut this pace if you want to. Have you ever received a Corey FaceTime on a Saturday night by chance action?
I don't believe so. If I did, I didn't answer it.
Probably smart.
Smart man.
Probably smart.
You'd be up until 3 a.m. talking about 1987 Nebraska football.
Well, that was probably the only era of Nebraska football I can remember. They were making the Orange Bowl under Tom Osborne.
Yeah. So, anyways, we love Corey here on the show, and they know, and
Absolutely.
he knows that.
Shout out Corf.
Yep. Shout out Corf. All right, Pace, you got back-to-back here. We'll start with your second round play.
All right, give me my team total. Army over 40.5 at minus 115. Army's offense averaging 361 yards on the ground. UAB's defense has allowed 30 or more points in their last 4 games. Just gave up 71 to Tulane. I know that was the start of a slower game, but Tulane found their rhythm late there. UAB's rush defense, too, the second worst in the AAAC, allowing 227. So I think Army can take care of business here. And the last 3 weeks, Army's offense, 37 points, 42 points, 49 points. Let's make it 50 points here against UAB.
Yeah, it's actually crazy how good Army's offense has been this year. And what's nuts to think about, too, people have talked about it, that Army-Navy game, and this sounds crazy now, but in a few weeks, it might not sound crazy. That Army-Navy game could have playoff implications.
Yeah, I actually just saw one of, I can't remember what site it was on, but they were predicting the 12-team playoff, and they had Army, number 12. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Would have never guessed that.
The back-to-back, I'm going to take LSU Ole Miss first half over. Let's see, what did I get it? 29.5 here. Last year, this first half had 59 points. Ole Miss's offense kind of got to get going here. I think they've only scored 44 points over the last 2 games. So I think I expect a shootout here. LSU can score some points. Ole Miss, that offense, can score points. They just got to get going here. I don't believe in LSU's defense, so give me the first half over there.
Love it. Yeah, both those offenses and not great defenses, I think that could fly over. So I like that a lot.
Yeah.
What did you get for a line on that?
29.5 here at -120.
Alrighty. Sounds good. All right. I like it, Pace.
Let's go.
We will go to VSC now with his third round play.
I'm going to take Alabama -11.5 in the first half against South Carolina. I actually don't think South Carolina is that bad. I just think this is if Kalen DeBoer is good at anything, which I think he's actually a very good coach, but he gets guys fired up. They want to go out and play for him, and I think he has that locker room just pissed off. I'm sure this week of practice has been awful for Alabama. I'm sure it's been not fun at all. And I think they're just going to want to go out there and get this game over with by halftime and go back and get things right. And they need to prove it a little bit that they are who they say they are. So Alabama -11.5 in the first half, not a football number at all, but I like it.
All right.
Oh.
Sounds good. What'd you get for a line on that?
Is -105.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, this could be a huge bounce back spot for Alabama. South Carolina could run into a buzzsaw, I think, in that first half.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about them, but we'll see.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll go to me now, and I'm going to go to a total here, and we are going to the Red River rivalry game. I am taking Texas and Oklahoma over 49.5. I know Oklahoma's defense has gotten a lot better. As an Oklahoma fan, I can understand that. Oklahoma's defense has gotten a lot better. Texas's defense is really, really solid. This is the Red River rivalry game, folks. These two teams hate each other. Outside of Ohio State, Michigan, and I don't think there's any other rivalry of these two teams hating each other as much as they do. The hate runs deep, and when the hate runs deep, they score a lot of points. The Red River game, year after year, has gone over the total, and I think it's going to do it again. And I don't think it going in the 50s is that crazy at all. So I'm going to take the over in the Red River game, over 49.5, Texas, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I was looking at this earlier. It just feels like one of those games that always gets there somehow, some way. Pace feels like that Texas Michigan game earlier this year, where we're gonna have to probably grind it out more than we would like to, but somehow, some way, I think this thing goes over. It seems to always do it.
That's a good comparison, BFC.
And Oklahoma's offense, I think, has gotten a lot better since they decided the move to bench Jackson Arnold and go with MH9. So I think that offense is a lot better.
MH9, I love it.
Shout out MH9. MH9 better than DR15 since Corey's not on to defend himself.
You're about to get a FaceTime at 3 a.m.
Oh, I know. And I'm not going to answer it like Action. All right. Sounds good. Action, you do have back-to-back here. We'll start with your third round play.
Well, you blew up my card in the first pick. So just trying to think on my feet here. So after my performance so far this year, I just outsourced to AI and Chat GPT or whatever it's called. So I'm going to go Northern Illinois Bowling Green over 47.5. Kyle keeps bragging about Bowling Green. I saw Northern Illinois move the ball against Notre Dame. If they can move the ball against Notre Dame, they can move it against Bowling Green. And Kyle says Bowling Green's really good, so they can move it against Northern Illinois. So give me the over 47.5. And then I am going to go another team that really probably wants to fix a few things that has completely underachieved, Missouri. I'm going to lay the 27.5. It's a huge number at UMass. But I feel like this is a game that they may win it 52-3. I just think they just put a pounding on UMass and really try to correct a lot of things before they get back into conference play because I don't know if I've been more disappointed in a football team than I was last week watching that.
That was brutal.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that too. They got killed by A&M.
Murdered.
Yeah, so they're either not good and I'm going to lose that bet, or I think they don't take off the gas because they want to get their confidence level up. That's not a game where you pull back the dogs when you've been playing like they've been playing. So that's why I think it has the potential to be that 40+ point blowout.
Yeah, no, I love that play. I think after that game, I think they're going to just pour it on UMass, and yeah, and the Northern Illinois Bowling Green over. Those are two teams that are going to be top of the MAC, I think, by the end of the year, and they both can score points. So I like that play too. Okay. Sounds good. We will go to me now. I'm going to go to my money line here. I'm taking an underdog in the ACC. I'm taking Cal on the money line against Pitt at a plus 135. Yes, I was wrong about Pitt in my newsletter. I thought they were going to go under their team total. They absolutely have not. They're 5-0 this year, and they're ranked 22 in football. But another team that I got wrong that's been really solid is Cal. Cal, like we saw last week, had a big lead on Miami, blew it and ended up losing the game. So I think they're pissed. And I think they're going to go into Pittsburgh. They're going to be mad. And I think they're going to give them a run for their money. So I like them a lot here. And I like them at plus money this time around. So I'm going to take Cal on the money line against Pittsburgh at plus 135.
All right.
I like it.
I love Pitt. Sorry, Kyle. So.
Okay. That's all right. Okay. Sounds good. We will go to Pace then with his, or VFC, I'm sorry, with his fourth round play.
Hey, all good. I think so. I've got a team total left and a money line. I think I'm going to go to the team total. A little bit boring here, but I am going to take Alabama team total over 36.5. Again, same analysis I gave before. I just think they're going to come out firing. This is nothing against South Carolina. I think they are a good team, and I think they have a good defense. I'm not sure it matters. This Alabama offense is insane. I don't think they've seen anything like it, and it's going to be tough. So I think they'll score a lot of points, and hey, hopefully, South Carolina can keep it close enough to where Bama isn't pulling Milrow in the third quarter, and they can score 1,000,000 points. So Bama team total over 36.5. Let me get a line for you. Sorry.
Nope, you're right.
It is minus 105.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, we got people big on multiple teams with multiple picks. I love that. Just putting their cards on one team. Alrighty. Sounds good. Pace, you have back to end round 4 and start the final round.
All right. So I'm going to take I think I need a total, correct, and a money line, I believe. So I'm going to take Vandy, Kentucky under 46. Kentucky defense allowing 2 touchdowns a game, 4-1 to the under this season. They held Ole Miss, who has a pretty solid offense, at 20 points. And I don't think Vandy's offense is like that Rebels offense. So again, Vandy coming off a program win, right? Like that to Alabama. I think this could kind of just be an ugly type of game, and I'm going to take the under 46 in this one. So a little bit of a hangover here for Vandy is kind of what I'm expecting to see out of them against a Kentucky defense that's pretty solid.
And we've seen a lot of hangover games this year in college football, and I think Vandy very well could have one after that one against Alabama.
Yeah, it would actually be so funny if Vandy, beats Bama and then just gets killed by like 50 or something. Actually 45 rip.
45.
Yeah, 45.
That's it, exactly.
And then, all right, to round my little snake draft off here, I'm going to take Iowa money line minus 135 against Washington. Obviously, Washington coming off, that W against the defending champs. I know Iowa just came off that loss against Ohio State, but don't they get beat every year by Ohio State? So they should feel comfortable. Coming off a loss to Ohio State, they're back at home. Washington now is like, all right, hey, we got that nice win. Now we got to go to Iowa, another gritty place to play, and I'm going to take Iowa at home here at minus 135.
All right, sounds good. Obviously, I love that play, but
yes, sir.
I was telling some people though, like I love the play, but it does make me nervous after what I saw them do against Michigan. So I think there's two sides of the coin: is Washington good or is Michigan bad?
That's fair. Yeah, I'm on the side of Michigan's bad, so that's where I came to this play at.
That's fair.
I wanted to talk about this game. I'm glad someone made a play on it. My fear is, and I agree. I think all the signs point towards Iowa winning this game. Like, bounce back for Iowa, kind of fall off for Washington, all of that. But I just feel like Washington just prepared for Iowa for a week when they were preparing for Michigan. A really good defense and a team that can only run the ball. I mean, we saw it. Kirk doubled down on the McNamara thing. He said he's improving. He's getting better each week. Of course, he's the quarterback. When Sullivan was led a touchdown drive for Iowa at the end of the game, and yeah, Ohio State had probably let off the gas a little, but I don't know, man. It's scary. I don't know what is going on in Kirk's brain that he can look at the way McNamara's been playing and say this is without a doubt our guy and he's improving week after week. So it just scares me a little bit that I feel like Washington just saw Iowa in a different form. And I feel like they're more than ready with how to deal with them. So we'll see. I'm probably going to stay away from this game completely. Again, I think all the signs point towards Iowa. It's just an interesting, from a football standpoint,
Yeah.
feels like they just.
I think this is a must-have to win for Iowa. You don't want to
Oh,
drop
for
1 and
sure.
2 in the conference for sure.
For sure.
Oh, definitely. Well, BFC, I'd tell you that I agree with you that I'm surprised with Kirk Ferentz doing that. But you got to realize, too, as an Iowa fan, he said the same thing about Petrus. He said the same thing about Deacon Hill. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that there's a backup quarterback better than the starter that he refuses to play. I'm just so numb to it at this point. Like, it doesn't even surprise me.
It's crazy. It's genuinely crazy.
Yeah, but he's done a lot of success for us for a long time, though.
Yep.
So I gotta give him props for that. We haven't had many losing seasons in my lifetime. I'll say that much.
True. He's earned his stripes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, nice picks back to back there, Pace, to end your snake draft. VFC looks like you need a money line to round out your card.
Yep, I'm gonna end it with USC money line at plus 175. Talk about must-win games. I mean, this is the must-win of must-wins. I think this line, I think more people would be interested in USC. Like Action said earlier, they had a number 11 next to their name last week, and now they have nothing next to their name. I think a lot more people would be interested in USC if they had a number 15 or 20 next to their name. It just feels like this is a must win for USC. Again, we talk about bounce back spots. I read something today. Penn State was having trouble getting through the airport. Their travel was all kind of jacked up. So I just feel like a lot's going to be going on there. It is a long way to travel. Um, we'll see, but I feel like USC can hang in this game. We saw them hang with Michigan. We saw them hang with LSU. We saw them, I think they're a decent game. They seem to always or a decent team. They always seem to be in games. And give me USC to just accidentally win this game in the fourth quarter in a close one. So plus 175 for a unit, worth a shot.
Yeah, that's sticking to VFC's roots. I know his hot take was Penn State wasn't going to be very good this year, so he's trying to double
They're
down
still
on
not.
it.
They're still not. They've played nobody. Shut up, B-Russ.
Oh, that's funny. You're still on the Drew Aller hate train, right, VFC?
Yeah. Again, I just hate is a strong word. I do think he's better than what I gave him credit for. He's just running over, dude. He just looked bigger than everybody else out there, and I just feel like he needs to play a real defense here. And I think USC's defense is actually pretty solid. So we'll see.
We ever did a snake draft of college football players with punchable faces. I think Drew Aller could be arguably a 1-1. Bro's got a very punchable face.
So does Cam Rising. He's got to be up there.
Cam Rising, yeah. Riley Leonard is really, really punchable.
He sucks too.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to do a snake draft of that sometime. Maybe we'll have you guys on Gambling Feud and we'll do a snake draft of punchable faces. All right. Sounds good. So I'm up now. I'm going to have my team total. You guys know where I'm going. Kent State team total under 27.5, minus 120. I know Ball State's not very good, but you're telling me that Kent State's going to score 4 touchdowns? No, it's not going to. I know it happened a couple weeks ago, but that was a fluke. It's not going to happen again. Eastern Michigan sucks. Ball State's not as bad as Eastern Michigan. I'm going to keep riding this. Kent State team total under 27.5.
Love it.
Let's go. When's the last time Kent State scored 4 touchdowns?
Besides last week, it's been a while.
Yeah, okay, never mind. I forgot about that. Yep, never mind.
I did lose that, but that's why I always play one unit on, because there always is that chance that they have like an offensive game, but
Yeah.
I just don't think it's gonna happen. I'm gonna keep riding it.
There we go. Someone's getting their first conference win here in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, these two teams are terrible. But all right, sounds good. In action to round out the snake draft, you need a team total.
This is not going to be a popular play. I'm going to go the Ohio State under 27.5 at a -105.
Ooh.
That doesn't mean that I think Ohio State's going to lose the football game.
27-0.
I am telling you that I believe that this has the potential to be a much, much lower scoring game than we would sometimes think between these two schools. So I'm going under.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
What is the the total on that? Full game, sorry.
Yep. We're sitting at 53.5.
Okay. I wish this game was later, but at noon.
Thought it was at 6:30.
I'm seeing here 12 p.m.
Yeah, I think
You get moved?
one second. Yeah, I think
I see 6:30 on Peacock.
Yeah, I did get moved
NBC.
to 6:30
Okay.
on NBC.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, sir,
Come
you
on,
know
Bovada.
Is that
Yeah,
why?
Bovada's
Bovada hasn't
slacking,
messed
dude.
up. Bovada
Bovada's
hasn't messed up.
trash, actually.
Yeah, it's a 6:30 game.
Okay, all right.
Which that surprises me. It's on NBC, and that's where game day is going to be. I wonder where Fowler and Herbstreit are going to go then.
Looks like they're at Old Miss LSU.
Ooh.
Huh.
Right.
Okay. That's interesting.
Hey, last week game day was in Berkeley, and he had to fly to Fayetteville for the Arkansas-Tennessee game. So
yeah,
he's accustomed to the long journey.
Herbstreit's travel schedule is absolutely insane. If you guys ever have time to look that up, it is nuts.
Yeah, that dog's going to rip away soon.
Oh, okay. Cut that. Cut that.
Dude, the thing's like 12 years old, and it's flying around the country. What are we doing?
Cut that.
Wow.
I love
All
that.
right. Sounds good. Well, hey, we'll go through our picks really quick. We'll go through honorable mentions, then we'll do upsets and locks. Pace, Utah, -6.5. Army team total over 40.5 at a -115. LSU, Ole Miss first half over 29.5 at a -120. Vanderbilt, Kentucky under 46, and Iowa money line at a -135. VFC, Purdue, Illinois under 49.5. Rutgers -2.5. Alabama first half -11.5 at a -105. Alabama team total over 36.5 at a -105. And USC money line at a +175. Kyle, Kansas State -4. Boise State first half -11.5 at a +102. Oklahoma, Texas over 49.5. Cal money line at +135. And Kent State team total under 27.5 at a -120. In action, Kansas State first half -2.5 at a -110. Kansas State money line at a +155. Northern Illinois, Bowling Green over 47.5. Missouri -27.5, and Ohio State team total under 27.5 at a -125. So really quick, gentlemen, any honorable mentions? Pace, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I like San Diego State, Wyoming under. I like Western Michigan team total over. I like Georgia team total over. I like Texas State -14.5. Let's see, what else did I have here? I like Minnesota, UCLA under, and I like Marshall team total over. So again, really cutting my card down as the weeks go down by here. So again, I think I've added 2 to 3 each week. So I'm getting close to Kyle. 2022, 2023. So again, it's college football season, baby. I got to rip.
Oh,
I've learned Pace. If you guys don't know, in like early days of the network, I used to do like 80 plays.
Yeah,
this college football Saturday.
This dude would send me a card that was like, 70 plays. I'm like, dude, you want me to track all these plays? What are we doing here?
And I told him, I said, you don't have to. And this was before I even had the action app too. So if you guys, I would go play by play, WL, and then track my win losses, and then I would just send it to Pace, and Pace just took my word for it.
Yeah, we got 2 guys on here that still don't have the action app. That includes Action and VFC. So shout out those guys.
Yeah, my bad there, but I actually still I've been doing the old school tracking in an Excel thing because you get way more data, you can cut it up, put it
True,
into
true.
pivot tables, you can see how you're doing by type of play, conference, all that. So
All right.
so I like doing that.
I agree with what he just said. I've always found vulnerabilities in certain spreads, especially when it comes to things like college basketball, that I'm just not good at certain numbers. So old school, baby.
Fair. Yep. Very true. VFC and honorable mentions.
I love Tennessee minus 15 and a half. Love it, love it, love it. Um, I'm probably going to bet Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins over right now. I'm pretty sure Henderson looks like 55 and a half, Judkins 63 and a half. I just think they're both going to be able to run all over Oregon, so we'll see.
Okay. Sounds good. A couple other plays I had. I like UNLV minus 19 against Utah State. I know me and Pace were both really big on UNLV the last time, but they're
Dead to
due
me.
for a bounce back, and Utah State absolutely sucks. That was so devastating, Pace. You and I were up
Yeah.
really, really late watching that game. That was so devastating.
Dead to me. Odom
That's
can die. Dead to me.
that's fair. Couple other plays. I like Clemson minus 20 and a half against Wake Forest. I've been wrong. I was wrong about Cade Klubnik earlier this year. So I like that. And then Memphis and UCF, I like USF, excuse me. I like over 60 and a half. I think these are two high flying offenses that could very well score over 30 points. So I like those as well. Action, any honorable mentions?
A couple top 25 upsets that I see brewing that will not qualify for our upset of the week. I agree with VFC. I have USC beating Penn State. So I agree there. I have Arizona going into BYU. They're going to win their second big game in the state of Utah this year. They should maybe move their home games there. They could have a better record. So I definitely like the Wildcats to pull that one off. I actually have LSU upsetting Ole Miss. I think Brian Kelly gets the big win that he desperately needs to quiet the critics like Coda Capper Kyle there. So those are the three that I want to mention.
All right.
I like them.
Sounds good, gents. Well, hey, let's go through our upset of the week and lock of the week to round out the show. So, upset of the week, how that works is everybody in the panel has to choose an underdog of at least 7 points, and that underdog must win outright for them to get the win. Current standings right now, Action is in the lead with the upset of the week contest with 2. He correctly picked Syracuse over UNLV last week. So, him and I went head to head on 3 different plays last week, and he won all 3 of them. So I got to give a shout out there. So Action's in the lead there. Tied for second is VFC, PG, Beast, and Corey with 1. Beast correctly picked Minnesota over USC as his upset of the week, and Corey correctly picked SMU over Louisville as his upset of the week. So those guys are all tied with 1. And Pace and I are at the bottom of 0, but we're so due here, Pace. We're so due. I'm ready for us to get it here. Let's go through our upsets of the week, and Pace, we'll start with you.
All right. I just said I like Western Michigan team total over. I also like Akron money line plus 280. Give it to me. Western Michigan struggled last week against Ball State, who has the bottom of the league. Western Michigan 1-4 ATS. Akron's better defensively, especially than Ball State. Again, I know it's a long shot, and that's probably why I'm at the bottom of the standings because I do take fairly big long shots. But Western Michigan hasn't impressed me much offensively. Akron's improved in the last 3 weeks in terms of scoring points. So giving them plus 280 here against the Western Michigan.
Okay. Sounds good. I love it. And in the weeds play, I love those plays myself. So I like that a lot. My upset of the week, I'm going to go Virginia over Louisville as my upset of the week. Louisville got upset last week against SMU. And Virginia, man, they're playing really good football. I was not expecting that. I expected them to be kind of bottom barrel of the ACC. They're 4-1 right now. They're playing really good. They're getting 7 points at home against a Louisville team that has been playing as good as people thought they might be. I like them to upset here. So I'm going to take Virginia over Louisville as my upset of the week.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
All right. VFC, what's your upset of the week?
I want to be able to tell my grandchildren one day that I was there and riding with the Commodores when they did it in back-to-back weeks. Vanderbilt, they're going to go into Kentucky and beat Kentucky. I think Kentucky's defense is really good. Don't get me wrong. I just think Vandy's offense is that good. And this is quite the long shot. I think they're like plus 14 and a half. It's like plus 400. But Vandy riding with the Commodores.
Diego Pavia, my friend.
Absolutely. My goat. And I drafted them in the college football show. Everyone laughed. Look at me now.
People did laugh at you, VFC. That's true. You're proving the haters wrong.
He knows the Jerry Kill impact. Nice job.
Yep. Yeah, he does. Action rounded out your upset of the week.
My upset of the week, chaos. Certain teams know how to deal with chaos. Others do not. I'm going to take South Florida. This game has been moved, obviously, a couple days because of the hurricane that's going to come through. Both teams have had 2 weeks to prepare, but South Florida, they've lost to Alabama, Miami, and Tulane. 3 really, really good teams. I'm no knock on Memphis, but I feel like South Florida is not a 4-loss football team right now. They should not be a 2-4 type football team. I think they got a ton more talent than that. I think the Bulls, maybe it's just going to rally the community after the hurricane comes through the eye of Tampa St. Pete for once, for the first time since 1921. It could be the rallying cry that they need. Memphis's travel schedule is all over the board. They're in chaos there, where South Florida's like, hey, we're accustomed to things like this. We adapt, we adjust. I think the Bulls pull off the upset at the plus 7.5.
Love it.
Yeah.
You guys know I'm all in on South Florida. I've said a lot of good things about them. So
Took them against Bama, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, he did. Yep, he had them against Bama too. And then Corey did text me his plays as well. He's taking Oklahoma over Texas as his upset of the week.
Wow. Idiot.
Sorry, PG. Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah.
That one's cooked.
All right, and then let's round out the show with our locks of the week. Lock of the week, very simple. If the lock hits, you get a win. If it doesn't, you get a loss. It's that simple as that. Current standings right now, VFC is in first place with a 3-1 record. Pace and I not far behind at 4-2. Action and Corey are tied at 2-4. Beast is in sixth at 1-1. And PG is in seventh at 0-3. So let's go through our locks of the week. I'll start with Corey. He went very obscure play. He's taking Washington first half team total under 10 as his lock of the week.
Okay.
So that is
Corey
where
play?
he's Iowa.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a Corey play. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, it's a Corey play, you're saying.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yep, that is a Corey play. Action, we'll start with you for the lock of the week.
I'm not letting you steal this one. Kansas State minus the 4. That is my lock of the week. I didn't get to play it, but just going to give you a little background here. Both teams coming off of a bye. We know Kansas State laid an egg when they went to BYU on the road. There is no way Chris Kleiman has that happen in back-to-back road games. Colorado, when we look at their wins, they beat UCF. Well, who the heck is UCF beat? I'm looking at that schedule, and yeah, maybe TCU, but you guys all want to fire Sonny Dykes, so that's not a good win. Well, they beat Baylor. Well, hey, Pace already said number 1 coach to get fired is at Baylor. Baylor's beat Tarleton and Air Force. Well, we know those schools can't win football games. Then they beat Colorado State, who's only beat Northern Colorado and UTEP. Those wins are not very impressive. And then I go back to the coaching staff at Kansas State. I'll take any day of the week over Colorado. And the fact that I heard this story with Pace will know the name, Dom Izzo, up here in the local media. He interviewed Chris Kleiman, and what did Chris Kleiman do for the 4th of July? He had Gene Taylor, the athletic director's kid from Kansas State. He was at his house. His kid was at his house. Well, they're both on the coaching staff at North Dakota State. So all they did for the 4th of July is they broke down Colorado film. He got to then see his very same schemes in action in the first game of the season between North Dakota State and Colorado. There will be no team more prepared for Colorado than Chris Kleiman, because he has broke it down and he's had his exact systems used against him already this year. So I love Kansas State.
I'm in.
I was going to say, I want to run through a brick wall now.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Is this a game? Is this the second game of the decade for you, Action? Or what can you label this game?
I only play a game of the decade. You have to have the right situational spot for a game of the decade, and revenge spot after a national championship loss is the only type of thing that qualifies for that. This is only a game of the year type of thing, not a game of the decade or century. Century are really rare too.
The Action put his house on the line for the game of the decade. He might just put his car on the line for the game of the decade.
He put his shed on the line. Yeah.
Yep.
Nope. I love that play. Yeah. Make me want to run through a brick wall. I love it.
That was awesome.
Pace, your lock of the week.
Well, I think going back all the shows, my lock. I haven't taken my lock of the week in my snake draft, so which seems like a boneheaded play, but here I am gonna take Utah. I'm riding or dying with Utah. I think situational spot. It's a good spot for them, and you got an old school coach, kind of knows college football, kind of knows what it takes coming off the bye, going up against one of the young guns there in Arizona State. So stop the run, win this game by 7. Get out of town, and you're 2-1 in the Big 12. So just make it easy for me. That's all I ask. Just make it easy.
All right. Sounds good. My lock of the week, I like pace. Don't play my lock of the week in the snake draft just so I don't lose twice. That's kind of my philosophy why I don't do that. But Action's going to be pleased with this. I'm taking Minnesota minus 5.5 against UCLA. UCLA stinks this year. They are horrible. Their only win of the season came to Hawaii, and they damn near lost that game. So they are not very good. Minnesota, they just upset USC last week, and they're starting to click right now. I think they can win this game by a touchdown. I've been down on UCLA since the beginning of the year. I think Minnesota is in the right position to do good things here, so I think they can win by a touchdown. So I'm taking Minnesota minus 5.5 over UCLA as my lock of the week.
Let's go. DJ Flex said they're the best, 3-3 team in the nation.
I said the same thing.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. TJ Fleck and Mr. Ashton Jeanty shake hands.
Yeah, they spent July 4th together.
Yeah.
No, we only spent time together at the state fair. That's the only time we spent together.
All right.
I gave him my playbook. I think it helped. He finally used a couple of my plays.
Yeah, there we go.
Mr. Axon Junkie is going to be hired as a consultant for Minnesota football next year.
And it's going to Jerry Keel's going to get a head coaching job somewhere, and here comes Action Junkie, friggin' waddling.
Yeah. He's going to be too good for the show now, and he's just going to go off the show and do his own thing. I know how it's going to go.
Yep.
Well, with only 5 weeks like I had 2 weeks ago, I don't think I'll be on the show much longer anyway.
You're so due for a good week. I think we're all due for a good week. VFC, wrap it up with your lock of the week.
And one thing I did want to call out real quickly is if you parlay the 4 of our upsets of the week, it's just about plus 20,000, $5 will win you $1,000. So
there we go.
Akron, Virginia, Vandy, and South Florida.
That's
this
my
is
lock of the week.
Financial advice, but yeah, that's a good lock of the week. I agree. I'm going to take Oregon plus 0.5 in the first quarter against Ohio State. Ohio State, outside of the Western Michigan game, they've just been slow starters this year. I expect this to be tied at the end of the first quarter. Give me the plus 0.5. Ohio State hasn't been up by more than a touchdown in the first quarter in 4 out of 5 games this year. I just think we've been starting slow. Teams have just gone down, gotten a touchdown on their first drive, field goal on their first drive. Not good teams either. It's weird. Just seems to be a slow starting team. I mean, even against Iowa, only up 7-0 at halftime. Win the second half 28-7. It's just been that kind of year. So it feels like OSU is going to start a little bit slow. I expect a lot of running in this game in general. But in the first quarter, first half especially, I don't think either of these teams are going to start just slinging the rock. I think it's kind of going to be like a first round of a fight, really just a feel out quarter, see how things go. So I expect this to be tied. Maybe Oregon's even up by a field goal or touchdown. I think Ohio State wins this game. I think they'll be able to run the ball all over Oregon, but I think in the first quarter it's close enough. So Oregon plus 0.5 in the first quarter. It's minus 125. It's my lock of the week.
Go.
All right. Sounds good. I think that's our first ever first quarter lock. So I like that.
I was going to do the first half, but the number was 2.5 and the first quarter was 0.5. And I said, you know what? Give me that. More of a football number than 2.5. It's basically the same.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, gents. Well, hey, that was good talking to you. VFC, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Best of luck to your Buckeyes this week against Ohio State. So looking forward to that. Pace Action. We'll see you guys next week. We'll talk a lot about college football next week, but that's going to do it for this episode of the Fanatics, and we will see you guys next week to do a snake draft for week 8.
Peace.
See ya.